Congratulations, Mr. President.
There it is, NBC Universal. Blinken says Iran possibly closer to enough material for nuclear bomb. That's not harmful to their viewers, though, Graham, right? To print straight up propaganda like that? That's not. Come on.
The PCR test that is being used is a surrogate test, and the person who invented the test claimed that it should never be used for diagnosis. The PCR test is an amplification test, so you're looking for a sequence, not an infection. You're looking for a sequence within the RNA.
One of the plans for the Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Goals project is that the masses will be huddled together in smart cities, and people will gradually be forced to move away from rural areas into these cities through a series of carrot and stick policies. Smart cities are essentially hellish, futuristic urban prisons for the destitute masses to live in, surveilled, controlled and tracked through a big brother artificial intelligence that employs a China-style social credit system, zero freedom and a cashless society so that all financial transactions are monitored. Internet of Everything will be ubiquitous, and so you'll be connected, or should I say shackled, to this technocracy whether you like it or not.
By the way, here you go. Countries attacked by bombing, sabotage, and attempted government overthrow since World War II. Iran, 0. This is all the ones the United States have done. And you want to know how long they've been saying that Iran is close to getting a nuclear weapon? Do you want to see? Well, here's Colin Powell saying it in 2004, 16 years ago. Almost 2 decades they've been saying this shit. Right after he got done turning Iraq into a hellfirescape.
In the February and March timeframe, we didn't have an understanding of its transmissibility, all of its symptoms.
We didn't have an understanding of its transmissibility and its symptoms in February and March, yet you shut down the world's economy.
So they take a snippet of the RNA and they amplify it, and each cycle is doubling the amplification. When the amplification gets up to around 35, 36 cycles, they start to see a lot of these little needles in the haystack, and they say they have a bunch of false positives. But because there's no gold standard to compare it to, there's not really any way to make an assessment.
When these same elites create these propaganda videos with nice sounding buzzwords like smart solutions, integrity, innovation, sustainability, sustainable growth, environmentalism, clean energy, equality, equity, blah, blah, blah. They're always referring to planetary resources that everyone needs: food, water, nature, healthcare, money, electricity, agriculture, industry. And so their plan becomes obvious for anyone who can read between the lines. Their intention is to control all of these things, to control the means of production and all of life's essentials.
We've talked a lot about these things in the past where the hyperinflation of the currency has devastated a population. Well, look at these images. This is Venezuela, Bob. The money strewn into the streets because it lost all purchasing power. It's just absolutely insane.
The CDC is a private, for-profit corporation doing business. The CDC is not a government health advocacy organization. It is a corporation listed on Dun & Bradstreet and headquartered in the state of Georgia, with strong ties to the pharmaceutical industry.
Joe Biden critics falsely claim president lied about $2,000 stimulus checks. They falsely claim that he lied. No, Joe Biden lied. And you want to see him lie? Here it is.
The World Economic Forum's fourth industrial revolution appears to have overlap with the United Nations Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Goals project. And Agenda 2030 sits within Agenda 21. So a partnership between the two organizations seems to be in their mutual interest.
If you amplify up to 60 cycles, essentially everybody would show the sequence for SARS-CoV in their RNA. So this makes me wonder if you have, do we have tuberculosis sequences and cancer sequences and all kinds of things in our RNA that if we just look for them, we'll see them? Because just because we have them, that doesn't necessarily mean we're sick.
Our currency is probably going to be the last man standing. Europe is going to be the one that's going to collapse first. And then once that happens, I think it's going to scare people into either into a basket of like oil and gold and Bitcoin kind of a thing. Then when that's when the U.S. needs to get worried. But it doesn't matter if we still have a reserve currency. It's just going to be more expensive for us to buy anything. We're going to go into what I call an inflationary depression.
Send John and the Reverend to Washington. Those $2,000 checks will go out the door.
They will make decisions about whether we give people a $2,000 check.
We will be able to pass $2,000 stimulus checks for the people next week.
We'll deliver the $2,000 stimulus checks. And that begins with the $2,000 stimulus.
So Joe Biden's critics claim the president lied about 2000. So they're not only claiming, Joe Biden's critics are pointing out accurately that the president lied about $2,000 stimulus checks, just like Donald Trump lied. The first thing he did as president was lie about the 2000. He was lying about that before he became president, because he was telling everybody, vote for those guys and I'll get you your $2,000. He was lying.
This article is from stovuno.org. Agenda 21 and how it plays out. Major goals of Agenda 21 include the abolition of private property, the demise of rural living, exclusion of humans from wild areas, the abolition of single-family homes, government control of food supply, mandatory birth population control.
When your local news media and outlets and your local health agencies tell you that they're following CDC guidelines are a business of vaccinations and vaccines. Make no mistake.
Under the Vancouver Declaration, the section of the official report of Habitat 1, every state has the right to take the necessary steps to maintain under public control the use, possession, disposal, and reservation of land. In Agenda 21, this becomes 15.5i, develop policies to encourage the conservation of biodiversity and the sustainable use of biological and genetic resources on private lands. It is clear from the way Agenda 21 is being implemented that encourage means compulsion through legislation, taxation, and local authority zoning.
Were I a Jew, I would be a Zionist. And my father pointed out to me, I did not need to be a Jew to be a Zionist, for I am. Israel is essential to the security of Jews worldwide.